This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the HCEDC Type B board meeting on Wednesday, December 17th, 2025, and I open up the meeting at 6:33 p.m. We have a quorum present. Item number 2, administer statement of officer and oath of office to appointed members. Jeremy Castor, place number 2. Katrina, could you help us with that?
Swear or affirm that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, or promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment as a reward to secure my appointment or confirmation thereof. So help me God. I, Jeremy Castor, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of board member of Haslet Community and Economic Development Corporation for the city of Haslet, and will do the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
And thank you, Jeremy. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3, citizens' participation and comments. Do we have anyone in the chamber or anyone online that would like to make a comment?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, item number 4, items of community interest. 4.1, the City of Haslet and the Haslet Public Library will be closed Wednesday, December 24th, 2025, Thursday, December 25th, 2025, and Thursday, January 1st, 2026. The 2025 Haslet Parks and Recreation Survey is now open until Friday, December 19th, 2025. You will find the link on the website under 2025 Parks and Recreation Survey. And one note I'd like to make about that, please look at the drop-down list. I've had people tell me they didn't realize they had so many options of different selections. So please make sure you look at the drop-down list and choose your favorites for the top 5 items. Consent agenda, item number 5. 5.1, rescind the approval of the October 15th, 2025 regular HCEDC meeting minutes. If you guys remember, there was a little bit of confusion when we voted on that particular item. So I would ask the board for a motion to rescind that approval so that we could then correct that mistake. Do I have a motion?
Can you remind me what the mistake was?
Yes, I believe the mistake was that you had made a motion that did not have a correction in it related to, let's see, does it actually say here? Vista brought it to our attention at the end of the meeting. Let's see, it was regarding the minutes. I think it was regarding the minutes Kathy wanted corrected.
Okay, so I approved it before
yes.
Kathy was able to correct it.
She made the correction, but you read the motion to approve without the correction in it.
Okay.
So that was what the issue
Okay.
was.
With the real, regarding the real.
Yeah, yes. So, it doesn't actually call out here in our detail, does it? No, it just says rescind. It doesn't have a hyperlink to say what it was. Okay. But I believe that is correct.
Okay, before we approve the whole consent agenda, I would like to look at the financial report. I had a few questions about that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. What was the transfer to general fund? 21,290. Is that old or is that from?
The month
That's the
actual.
month.
Do you know what that is, Katrina?
Okay. I thought maybe it might be the transfer for the Metroport, but it's a little bit more? I don't think that's been done yet. Yeah, okay.
I don't know, but I know it's not that, because that
Okay.
hasn't transferred.
Okay. And then training, $265. Is that our training? No, because this is in the rears. This would be October, right?
This is for the month of, it says November. So it would have been last month, and we didn't have any training of last month. So Katrina, do you know what that is?
Is there another page after page 16?
Yes, if you will
Okay.
flip through another page, there should be a detailed page. Yes, there you go. And that
Okay.
only shows IT support, property tax, and our legal fees.
Okay.
So those are very good questions.
Okay.
Good catch, Laura. Does anyone else have any questions about the financial report?
I also noticed Hurley Street is on there, and I wasn't sure why. And that happened a while ago, and I'm not sure why it's still on our budget books, if that makes sense.
I think it stays on for the calendar year.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think it does.
But we didn't do anything this year on,
Right, but it might even stay on for multiple years. I don't know.
okay.
Do you know, Katrina, how long? A
Okay.
year or so? Okay.
And then could we look at the November minutes? I can't remember. I looked at this a few days ago, so. Okay. Yep.
Any questions? Any other questions? If not, then I would ask for a motion to approve the Type B April 15th minutes, our minutes from November 19th, and then we'll hold off on the financial statement until we have answers that were brought up to the questions. So does someone want to make a motion for just the 5.2 and 5.3 minutes?
I'm not sure. Maybe I misheard you, but I thought you said April the 15th.
Oh, I'm sorry, October 15th. Excuse me.
Sorry.
No, please, yeah, excuse me. If someone would like to make a motion on the meeting minutes, please do so.
I would like to make a motion that we rescind the approval of the October 15th, 2025 regular HCEDC meeting minutes. We then approve the October 15th minutes with the changes discussed at the November 19th, 2025 meeting, and approve of the November 19th, 2025 regular HCEDC meeting minutes as our consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, I have a second. I'll call for a board vote. All those in favor? It is unanimous. And so then we would like to move 5.4 for a later discussion, either for still yet in this meeting. If not, we'd like that to be brought up again in our next regular meeting. Okay, Item number 6, reports and presentations. The developmental report, Mr. Swanky, could you help us with that?
I surely can. Ms. Wertz and members of the board, I just want to run through a few slides here, and if I can take over. If it'll let me. There we go. These are some of the projects that we have going on right now, and some of them are nearing completion. The Shell office building at 480, which is right behind the women's clinic, they're just basically doing cleanup work now. And then the building behind that, which is at 476, is coming along quite well. It'll be finished rather soon also. Of course, this is a quick trip, and when I took the picture, they were putting up the sign, and now in front of the building, they've been working on the median opening, which will, service eastbound traffic coming into it along Haslet Parkway. And this is Cross City Church, the dirt work. They're making progress on that too. And I'll be giving you'll see these things over and over until they come to fruition on all of them. But there's a lot of progress being made. And in fact, this is an industrial building that's right off Haslet Parkway, and over the last couple of days, they've been working on this area that shows up as dirt right in here is parking lot, and they've poured a section of it back here, and they've got the ironwork in it right up here, so it'll be finishing that part of it real soon. And this is on the back, right next to the Caraway and Pass Drive, where they've actually made they're putting in a sidewalk here, but there was a area that they may widen the road, actually put more concrete in, widen the road, and then now they're finishing up the sidewalk and the dirt work behind. And then off of Harmon Road, we have the Freeman Toyota site, which they're doing a lot of dirt work back there. There was quite a hill there that they've had to take down and scrape over. And then this is over at 405 Westport Parkway, and just a little bit more about this building and the back of the building is it was at the Planning and Zoning Commission last night, and they have a revised or amended site plan that they've submitted because they're putting a CO2 tank in the front. And the people that made the presentation, they actually said there's probably going to be 600 to 700 employees here, 3 shifts, and what they do is they refurbish cell phones, but the CO2 tank is for cleaning the cell phones with dry ice particles to make sure they're all clean before they button them back up and sell them out. So that was as an amended site plan, and back here in the back where you see all those cars currently parked, these are the working, but they're going to be tearing up a portion of this parking lot back here and putting in parking spaces for employees. When you have industrial parking for 18-wheelers, you don't have landscape, but they're coming back and they're going to put landscape in this area where the car is going to be provided. So they're making some improvements there. And then finally on the east end of the building, they're putting in a pad and screened area for a generator.
I have a question. So our city ordinance won't allow them to just paint lines, like yellow lines?
For the parking?
Yeah.
No, when you have a parking lot, it's required that you put in, at the end of each parking row, trees,
Yeah.
landscape islands, plus every 10 parking spaces for automobiles, you have to have a landscape island. That's the way our ordinance reads for any type of commercial or industrial commercial land. If it's a parking lot, you have to. And when you look at the front of this building, if you back up a little bit, which I don't have a shot of that, over here on the side, you can start to see some landscaping where they've actually did that when they originally did automobile parking on the front. But now that they're putting automobile parking on the back, they have to treat it the same way. If they wouldn't do something like that, every time you saw an industrial building, there wouldn't be any landscaping. They'd also, it's all truck parking. Well, it'd be pretty bland if you did that, but our ordinance requires that you put in landscaping for automobile parking lots.
Mr. Swanky?
Yes.
What is the name of that business?
It's CTDI,
CTEI?
DI.
CTDI?
Mhm.
Okay.
They've never used anything for that acronym that I know of, but they had the main people from the business here, and I think he was from Pennsylvania. Yeah. He flew in just for this, for the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Doesn't really stand for anything?
It may, but I don't know what it stands for. I just know what they're doing in there. Yeah.
And Mr. Swanky, a question on 405 here. Do we capture any sales tax from the refurbishment of these cell phones?
Actually, I asked that question last night because, when you go to a service bay for like, get it fixed, the service does. But I asked them what they considered the point of sale was. It may be at a building other than here where the point of sale for their service is. And so at this point, we don't know. I posed the question last night to them, and they didn't know either. But that's something we'll definitely be pursuing if they do. There should be quite a bit of revenue there.
Yeah. And if you put this in contrast to the auto dealership that's getting put out there, we should be capturing point of sale tax revenue from that, right?
Not from the sale of cars,
Oh.
we don't, but they're gonna have at least 105 service bays, and we will be capturing a lot of revenue from that, from part sales plus the service cost.
Can you explain why it's not the point of sale for cars?
Yeah, it all goes to the state of Texas. It just does.
Yeah.
So that's a state law
Yeah.
that all car dealerships,
Yes.
so where do their tax go? Because I know they charge tax. Does it go all to the state?
All to the state.
Okay.
And I believe it's like 6.5%. And they don't pay like everybody else would, like, over 8% like they would for, if you go to have a retail store. So all the car sales goes to the state, unfortunately. That'd be a big ticket item. But the service is the big one where we do capture revenue from that.
Okay. Mr. Swanky, is there any other economic development activity this board can assist you with?
No, not at this point, but there are a couple more slides. This is drainage improvements over there at the the southwest corner of Community Park. And that's pretty well finished now. And in fact, there are people walking on that trail. I saw some tonight doing that. And then the fire station, they keep making improvements there. It's going up, and they're on 156.
And do you know the date of completion for the fire station?
I do not. I don't know what it is.
I heard end of February.
The end of February. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Swanky? No, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, moving to item 7, discuss, consider, and act regarding all properties and property management reports. I'd like to take that item into executive session. We'll move down to item number 8, action items. 8.1, discuss, consider, and act on Resolution 001-2025, the replacement of playground equipment and playground resurfacing at the Haslet Community Park and the playground at Nance Field. I'd like to inform the board, if they're not aware, that this item was approved by City Council in their Monday night meeting. So we can begin to move forward. I would say, Mr. Swanky, you have actually submitted the paperwork for our 60-day waiting period.
I was going to wait until next week to do that because on Friday of this week, the city council is going to act on the other one, hopefully. And that way
Okay.
I can do them all at the same time. Not
Okay.
only the reimbursement, and then that 60-day, and then the public hearings can all be on the same meeting that way.
Okay,
So at
that's,
least that was my
That's
thought
fine.
process was.
I don't know if the board is aware, but City Council has called a special meeting to cover some other items that were not covered last Monday night. So, as you've informed us, Mr. Swanky, the third resolution will be in that meeting, I presume.
That is correct. It's on the agenda.
Okay. All right. So what I'd like to go ahead and do on this particular item, we talked about setting up a committee, and I'd like to have a committee of 3 people. I think I volunteered for the committee, and Leah volunteered for the committee. Kathy Brandon has determined she'd like to step away from the committee. She was the 3rd person that we considered. So I'd like to open it up to the board for another nomination or volunteer to be our 3rd member for this particular effort. If anyone is interested,
I will.
raise your hand.
I will volunteer.
Okay, wonderful. So now we have 3 people to work on this committee. It will be Laura, myself, Kitty, and Leah. So I would open it up to the board for a nomination to adopt those 3 people as a committee to work on this particular resolution.
And that's for 8.1?
That's for 8.1.
For 8.2.
Oh, which one's the park? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back and read that. I didn't realize it was in 2 separate situations. Discuss, consider, and act to appoint HCEDC members to the Park Playground Committee established by the Parks and Recreation Board for the purpose of coordinating on the proposed playground project created by HCEDC Resolution 001-025. So we are on item number 8.2. Do I have a nomination?
Let's see, and that one was approved by council, 8.2?
8.2
Okay.
is yes, for the
Okay.
Parks and Recreation Board and the, our board to work on this particular effort. That was approved by City Council.
No, it's on Friday night's agenda. The resolution was approved, that item was not.
8.1 was approved for the actual funding of it. But our board is to actually name the committee.
Yeah, 8.1 was not addressed at the city council on Monday night. It'll be addressed on Friday on Mansfield.
I thought the playground
The play-
equipment
the
was
play-
passed.
Yeah, the playground was passed.
It was the parking lot at Mansfield that
is
was
correct.
not.
That is correct,
Okay, that's a separate agenda item.
yes.
Committee is also a separate agenda item.
Right, but I'm not asking for a committee of the parking lot. I'm asking for a committee of the playground equipment and the fall zone.
Yes, I,
Right. So, we can name our committee tonight.
correct. You asked if city council had already taken action on that, and the answer was no, it's on their agenda for Friday night to do so.
They have to approve our committees.
No, they don't have to approve our committee. What they have to do is approve the funding of the project. We name our own committee. Our lawyer's shaking her head.
They're
So
approving the project,
it's already been approved.
right?
Right. All the city council has to do is authorize the expenditure of funds.
Correct. And we do the rest. So I am asking the board to nominate a committee to work on this effort. Does everyone understand?
I'm sorry, I'm lost. You're asking this board to nominate?
This board nominates,
Why do we have, I guess I'm a little confused. Why do we have to nominate? Why can't we just self-appoint?
well, you can't self-appoint. We've got to vote on it and approve it. Matter of fact, all actions have to be voted on and approved. Is that correct?
Yes, so what the board is doing right now is taking nominations for the committee members, and then you'll be taking action to create the committee with those nominated members of your choosing, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry if I just came back off of a big trip and I'm a little bit disorganized tonight. But yes, we are approving 3 of our members. We cannot have more than 3 members, otherwise we will break quorum. But we are approving 3 members to work on this project. Any other questions?
So the one we're working on then is the Park Playground Committee for the Parks and Recreation Board for the purpose of coordinating the playground project. And that's the playground project?
We're
is-
not naming the Parks Committee. We're only naming our own committee.
Right, okay,
And we named 3 people.
okay.
And it's for the playground equipment at both Community Park and at Nance Field.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion to nominate Laura, Kitty, and myself, Leah, to the Park Playground Committee.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Okay, we have a second. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it is unanimous. Thank you, Board. Okay, item number 3, discuss, consider, and act on a resolution 202.2025, reimbursing the city of Haslet for a portion of costs incurred upon rejoining the Metroport Chamber of Commerce. This was also approved in Monday night's city council agenda, so there really isn't any action that I believe we need to take on this, other than Mr. Swanky will be including this in our 60-day waiting period. Once that is complete, if there's no objection from the community, we'll take action. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's 10% of the registered voters.
Thank you. Which is roughly 500 people or thereabouts.
That I don't know. If they show up, we'll count them at the end and we'll get how many registered voters and make that.
All right,
Hopefully, nobody will do anything on that.
object. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Swanky. Okay, we'll move on to 8.4, discuss, consider, and act on HCEDC Resolution 003-2025, the adoption of the project funding the concrete surfacing of the parking lot located at Nance Field. This item is the item that has not yet been taken up by City Council, but as Mr. Swanky had said, it will appear on their Friday night agenda, and they'll be reviewing that and making some determination. So we have no action really to take on this item at this time.
I do remember us having a discussion about the material. And we initially started with asphalt, and then we changed it to concrete. But I think, if I remember correctly, we may have wanted to move it back to asphalt or not do anything because of the master plan.
Correct.
Okay.
That is
I
correct.
just wanted to refresh our memories.
Sure. Does anyone have any questions related to that? No? Okay. All right. We'll move on to 8.5, discuss and consider an act on enacting an agenda building procedure for the HCEDC board. And if you will, could you click on the hyperlink? What I'd like to do is go ahead and read this aloud for the purpose of the public, and then the discussion of the board. Haslet Community and Economic Development Corporation Agenda Procedures. In accordance with Section 2.07 of the Haslet Community and Economic Development Corporation, the HCEDC bylaws, and the Texas Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the Open Meetings Act, the HCEDC hereby adopts the following procedures that shall govern the creation and administration of agendas for all HCEDC meetings. Item number A, agenda creation procedures. Item number 1, all directors may submit one request per meeting for an item to be placed on the HCEDC agendas at the next regularly scheduled meeting. All agenda requests must be submitted to the president by 5 p.m., no less than 15 days prior to the scheduled meeting. If a director's request cannot be accommodated at the next scheduled meeting, it shall be placed on the agenda for the meeting immediately following. The president shall have exclusive authority to review and prepare the final draft of the agenda to be provided to the city secretary. Item number 2, the city secretary shall post the agenda in accordance with the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. The city secretary shall not make changes to the content of the agenda without the approval of the president. Item number 3, there shall be a standing item on the agenda to allow the president and the directors to bring forth items they wish to discuss at a future meeting. In accordance with the Open Meetings Act, any discussion shall be limited to a proposal to place the item on a future agenda. If the item is to be placed on a future agenda, the president may direct city staff to place the item on a future regular meeting agenda. Item number 4, a motion to reconsider any action of the HCEDC must be made not later than the next succeeding official meeting of the HCEDC. All motions and discussion regarding any action to be reconsidered shall be submitted to the president to be listed on the agenda at the next formal meeting. A motion to reconsider may only be made by a member who voted in the majority and can be seconded by any member. The motion to reconsider requires a majority vote to carry. If the motion to reconsider passes, the HCEDC shall reconsider and act on the corresponding item. No questions shall be reconsidered twice except by unanimous consent of the HCEDC. Is there a second page? Item number B, agenda posting procedures. The HCEDC shall comply with all notice requirements of the Open Meetings Act. The agenda for any meeting of the HCEDC shall be posted by the city secretary no less than 3 business days prior to the date of the meeting. The city secretary's office shall be responsible for finalizing and posting the agenda for HCEDC meetings as needed. Item number 3, the president, directors, and the board's attorney shall be provided with the agenda and agenda packets for all meetings. These items will be available at City Hall after 3 p.m. on the Thursday preceding the meeting. The final agenda shall also be emailed to the president, the directors, and the board's attorney no later than 24 hours after it is posted. To the extent possible, packet information may also be emailed to any director upon request. The president may extend any of the deadlines in this section at their sole discretion when deemed necessary. Item number C, effective date amendments. These procedures shall become effective upon their formal adoption by the directors and may be amended by majority vote of the HCEDC at any time.
Could you go back to the previous page? Number 4, I believe. Okay, so hypothetically, let's say I was in the minority. I cannot bring something forward to be reconsidered, correct? That's what this is saying.
As it's currently written, that's correct.
Yeah. So, I don't know. To me, that makes it difficult for anyone who may not have agreed initially to have it reconsidered. I'm trying to see both sides of it. Is it okay that we are only relying on the majority?
Is your concern that it must be made not later than the next official meeting, if there's, I guess, concern?
No, I guess my concern is if someone really thinks that we didn't think something through, like we had information and then we got some new information that we don't, and that person has to share that information, shouldn't we look at it again, even if it's someone who was not in the majority?
So you're saying more than 1 month down the road, if it's 6 months down the road, is that? I don't understand.
No, her concern is that anyone should be able to ask for a reconsideration whether they voted in the majority or or if they were in the minority for that vote.
And to me, that's what it says you can do, but it has to be done by the next meeting. Is that, I'm totally misunderstanding?
Can we amend it so that any member can bring up the reconsideration?
The board certainly can if it wants to. I think the intent behind that is to not have one person continuously bringing up an item that the board has already made a final decision on. But I can certainly see the concern. If that is what the board would like to do, then we can absolutely amend that to say that.
So at I have a question on the very last sentence. It says, no question shall be reconsidered twice except by unanimous consent. So question, could that mean no agenda item or no?
Yes, yes, it's interchangeable with item.
Okay.
No item can be brought before the board twice without the entirety of the board voting to hear it again.
So would that limit, in that situation, would that limit then, like say that a member was in the minority, brought it up a second time, it's done after that?
They
So-
can only bring it up once for reconsideration.
For reconsideration,
Yeah.
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 I like
So-
that better.
Yeah.
So I have it pulled up so I can edit it right here. We're thinking it should be, I can just take out that sentence that says a motion to reconsider may only be made by a member who voted in the majority and can be seconded by any member. I think we can just remove that sentence.
Okay. I like that.
But the intent is too, that someone can't just bring something up, that it's only a second time that it can be brought up and then it's dead, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Do you
But
feel
is
happy
it-
with that?
Is it still tied to the next succeeding official meeting, so the next month?
Or could it be brought up 3 months down the road even? I mean, does the time period have anything to do with it?
So right now, just removing that sentence, we do still have the requirement that a motion to reconsider be brought no later than the next succeeding official meeting. If the board would like, we can also remove that sentence, and that section 4 can just start with all motions in discussion regarding an item to be reconsidered shall be submitted to the president to be listed on the agenda at the next formal meeting. And that way it's not limited to the immediately succeeding meeting. We'll just take out that first sentence as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that more agreeable language?
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, very good.
How did the process go this time, when you were submitting and all that?
We really didn't have any issues, just a slight miscommunication between myself and Katrina, but we got it worked out.
Was there an item that you couldn't put on the agenda?
No,
Okay.
no, the
I
items.
thought I remember seeing something that we said was going to go on it and it didn't show up, and so I thought maybe that one would be delayed to the next meeting or something.
The item that was delayed was the economic grant
Oh, okay.
process. And that was delayed on purpose just because of timing and the holidays. Just a little bit difficult to bring that forward in this meeting, but it will be coming forward in the next meeting. So, but otherwise, we didn't have any other problems. Okay, so do we want to let the official changes be made by our legal representative and revisit this again next month? Or do we want to go ahead and adopt it based on the changes Elizabeth has suggested and made?
Yes, so if the board is fine with those changes, I've got them saved, I will email them to the president. The motion can just be to adopt these procedures with the changes discussed.
I'm comfortable adopting the agenda today with the changes, so I'm okay. But I'm also okay waiting if people would prefer that, but I'm good just going ahead and making it official.
Can you clarify, are we approving this to go in our bylaws, or we are approving this just procedurally?
This is just a procedure at this point. It will need to be separate action if the board wants to recommend amendment of the bylaws to include this.
And I suggest maybe we recommend it as a procedure at this
Yeah.
point, and then maybe a couple months, 3 months down the road, then we make it official in the bylaws, just after we understand if it's working properly for us, since it's somewhat new.
Right, I like that.
Okay,
I have a couple of comments for
Sure.
you on Section B, Agenda Posting Procedures. I might suggest that the sentence that says, "The agenda for any meeting shall be posted by the city secretary in accordance with the Texas Government Code." That changed this last September, and if it changes again, that would, cover that. 3 business days is correct, though, as it stands. And then in item number 3, these items will be available at City Hall after 3 p.m. We don't print the packets out for you. They're emailed to you, and they're available for your download on our website. We email you a link so you can do that, but I don't print anything at City Hall at 3 o'clock on Thursdays for you.
I was thinking that was for the public, but if these are our procedures, then it does make sense to remove that, since I would rather get it by email.
I think we probably all would rather get it by email.
And even if you don't get it by email, it's available for your download on the website.
Yeah.
I have just a couple comments, if I could.
Sure.
It really seems restrictive, because I know in the past you've had some Monday meetings, and this basically means you can never have a meeting on Monday if you have to have everything on Thursday. It doesn't meet the 3 days.
I mean, yeah, that's the new restriction based on the legislature. All of our municipalities are having to deal with that. It's just kind of working through when you can get an agenda posted.
But that's not just our board, that's every board.
Every board.
Correct.
In other words, if you post it on Thursday, that means you can never have a meeting on Monday again.
And we likely wouldn't. We'd have to back up the posting on Wednesday to have a meeting on. Monday.
That's
So do we
correct.
need to take the day of the week out?
It's
And-
business days.
And
It's business days. It used to be 72 hours before a meeting, and that's gone away. Now it's 3, full business days.
But let's say that instead of on Thursday. Isn't that your
Yeah, that's
point?
what I'm saying. If you nail it down to a
Yeah.
Thursday, you've created a problem for yourself.
Let's use
Three
more
business-
flexible language.
So where is the, I'm sorry, I'm missing where it says Thursday, number.
Part B,
B3.
number 3. It's the third sentence in about midway. I guess.
Well, we're taking out, these items will be available at City Hall after 3
Right, so
PM.
that's just, yes,
Yeah, that's-
sorry, I already took that sentence out because I thought that was the board's instruction, but either
Yes.
way, I think the intent of that sentence was not to say it would have to be posted by the Thursday, that they would just be available by that Thursday for the board or for the public, but I've taken that out because the board wants to get everything by email. I think it makes sense to not have that language in there.
Do we need to adjust the language in the previous page if we have a day of the week somewhere?
On number one,
Number 1 says 15 days.
That's just the beginning of the creation of the agenda,
Okay.
so that's good.
that's just how long the president needs to
Right.
compile the items.
Right.
Yeah, the other comment I'd like to make too is only being able to submit one request. Sometimes a item may have relative, items that need to be placed on the agenda, so you have to you do your one and get some other board member to do the second one. Or, there are sometimes things that are related.
I thought the same thing. But I was just kind of wanting to see how this played out.
Yeah, I think we'll determine as we go forward in our somewhat trial period before we actually adopt this, whether it's going to work well or not. We'd have to have a lot of action items coming up if we need more than 7 different topics. And that's typically not been the case in the past. Not to say it won't be in the future, but I don't think we're limiting ourselves from this aspect.
So I guess this is the example. 8.1 and 8.2 are related. They're listed separately. And so 2 people would have to
Well,
submit.
that was the confusion that I had with Katrina when this was actually written out. I really wanted it to be in one particular item, but it's separated into 2. Since it's related, the action that we had to take was just to name our committee. So that is a little bit of a bad example, so to speak.
Okay.
And I think in discussing with the president, maybe the intent was more so director-initiated items that are not going to be that are not going to be staff-initiated or business-related brought by the president. It was really more so if an individual director had an item they wanted to bring forward. I think maybe if that becomes a constraint further down the line, we can look into tweaking that language to make it broader.
Okay.
And I think it was also to be like a one guaranteed item. So like, because there are so many of us, you get at least one guaranteed agenda item. Because if we all brought something, it would be a really long meeting if we could all guarantee 2 or 3 items on the agenda each. This is like one guaranteed. And I know how it reads. I don't think it reads like you can only submit one. It says you may submit one to be placed for like guaranteed approval, but if you submit others and no one else submits anything else, there's nothing preventing Kitty from adding those agenda items.
Right, and there's nothing preventing me from adding the second item to the following agenda meeting after the one we discuss. It's not like it's going to be dropped. It's just for sake of time and the amount of material we can go through at any given meeting.
I guess the example would be, you back up a couple meetings when we first started, the reimbursement, the playground, and the parking lot. Those were 3 items. If one person had talked to a council person and said, I want these on there, then you could have only have done one.
Well, no, they're separate issues. They're not
They're
combined
separate
into
issues,
one.
but this said you can only submit one request per meeting.
Well, one request per director.
Yeah,
So-
if they have 3 different directors, bring those forward then.
Yes, that would be what would happen.
I'm
Or
confused.
I think the president, as the administrator of the agenda, can set the agenda item. So if the president, in concert with city staff, needs to set certain agenda items, that was my understanding of the intent. the intent for A1 was more so if a director has a specific item they want to bring forward that's maybe not related to city business that's been discussed, and then they can submit a request. But I think in this trial period, we may need to go back and tweak that language to clarify.
Yeah, when we originally formed this, it was a way of protecting the minority so that every director had a guaranteed agenda item. It's so that nobody could basically be shut out. That was the intent of this first one, so that no matter what, I could bring something up and it would be listened to, even if everybody thought it was not a great idea. That was the intent behind it, so maybe we can tweak it as we go forward.
I agree. So,
And just to clarify, for item B1, Ms. White's suggestion, would the board like to edit that language to say shall be posted by the city secretary in accordance with the Open Meetings Act?
Yes.
Okay.
yes, that's fine.
If you could go back to the previous page as well. What if, okay. I was thinking maybe we tweak the language now. Because it does seem restrictive. All directors may submit one request per meeting, but that is stopping them from submitting more. If I had two, I could only give you one.
Well, the way I interpret that is you can tell me as many as you want. It's up to the president's discretion how they are presented on the meeting, and you get a guaranteed one. You can tell me you can rank them from your highest to your least, and then you get a guaranteed one. And if no one else submits any particular agenda item, we might be able to cover all three if you have three. I mean, I don't think that restricts you from telling the president, whoever that is, that you want these items to be discussed in future meetings.
Now, if we've got these other resolutions already in the works, does someone have to bring it up, or is that kind of?
No, I think that's ongoing until
Okay.
it's finalized.
So that doesn't count against somebody's one
No.
agenda item?
I don't interpret it that way.
Okay.
Am I correct?
No, and I'm looking at the last sentence of number 1 and thinking maybe we can add something that says the president shall have exclusive authority to review and prepare the final draft of the agenda and coordinate with city staff and coordinate with the board and city staff to include all necessary items or something like that, in case there is an item that's not necessarily director initiated that needs to be included.
Yes.
And then that opens up the fact that if I want to talk for 2 months about resolutions, I would be able to.
Because kind of there's a difference between ongoing agenda items and new agenda items.
Correct.
So if I need to place something on the agenda, which I will need to in 60 days after we publish it,
You come to me.
okay,
You come to me, Morris.
we can do it.
Thank you.
Do we need to insert anything about city staff specifically, or was that what you were just?
So, yeah, I've edited that last sentence to say, the president shall have exclusive authority to review and prepare the final draft of the agenda and coordinate with the board and city staff to ensure all necessary business is included.
Okay, but he's not, Morris is not limited to one item. This only governs us,
Right.
right? Yeah, okay.
And I can even include a sentence that says this limitation shall not apply to staff-initiated items.
Not sure about that
Wait a
last
bit.
part.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That doesn't quite sound right, because who do you consider as staff? And
We've
it
had some
could
trouble in the
potentially be a
past.
problem, as it was in the past, where staff wanted to insert items that were secretly held back from the president.
Okay.
So that won't work.
I think that the language saying that, essentially what we're doing is giving the president the power to set the items of the agenda, which if the board is fine with that, all directors get one item that they can bring forward to the president to be included on the agenda. Then the president shall coordinate with the board and with city staff to include all other necessary business.
I don't know if we have to put this officially in, but I would like, as a courtesy, if my agenda item could not make it on, or my second agenda item could not make it on, if the president would, reply to me and say, for this reason, instead of just a surprise, which has happened before, not you, but, yeah, not you.
And I can reply as long as it's independent between one director and myself.
That's correct.
I have the ability, so I can inform that director if they had a second item, that we would only be able to cover the first one, but that the second one would be coming down the road. Okay,
Correct. As long as it's to one board member.
thank you. Okay, other comments, other corrections, or?
I think I would like to play with the wording of number 1 still. So maybe we hold off on adopting this till next time. I just want to think of maybe some wording for that very first sentence, and then maybe we can adopt it at the next one.
And that's perfectly
I'm okay with
fine.
that.
Yeah, that's perfectly.
We table it?
Yes, let's just bring this up on our next agenda item, make this another request for next month to
Do we
go
have to
back.
vote to table? Or do we just say it?
No, you have to vote,
Okay.
right. But if we table it, then it has to be brought up again as an agenda item, correct? Right, let's not table it. Let's just postpone it to the next
You
meeting.
can table it to a date, it's only required for zoning, but you can table it to a date certain. So you can say, we will table this until the
Next
January
month?
meeting. Yes.
Okay, to our next regularly meeting. Okay. Then I ask for a motion.
I was looking at Leah because she suggested it.
I would like to make a motion to table this to our January meeting.
I second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and I have a second. I'll call for a vote for this item. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Good discussion. Thank you, board members. Okay. Okay, that was item 8.6. Oh, I'm sorry, 8.5. Moving to 8.6, discuss, consider, and act to make recommendations to City Council requesting a procedure and pricing information to establish city emails for the HCEDC board members. And I wanted to let the board be informed that there is a cost to our board to set up emails. And I feel like it's important that this board, with the business that we conduct, that we have city emails and that our board members are not expected to conduct official city business on personal emails. So that's what this agenda is about. City council all have emails, city emails set up. So I'd like to establish that for this board as well, so that we all have a city email address that we can conduct business with. I've been informed that cost could be right around $6,000 with Datamax. And so we will have to adjust our budget accordingly. I think in our IT account, we have about $2,000 budgeted, but we have ample funds in another account that we can move monies from to put in the IT account to make sure that we cover that cost. Right now as well, I don't believe there is a procedure in place, and Katrina, you might need to jump in here and help explain the process.
Yes, and like I have said a couple of times, and I replied to your email also, if you make a motion, we will do the process to create a procedure and have council approve it and, go in that direction, because we don't currently have a procedure for
So
hosting.
how did it happen in the past?
So in the past, you guys had a budget for IT, of course, but there were iPads, and the iPads were assigned to all the board members, and the iPads came with everything loaded, like the email addresses.
How long ago was that?
Probably over 3 years.
Yeah, ever since I've been on the board, we've not been given iPads.
Correct.
And I don't think we're asking for iPads.
No, I understand that you're not, but she asked how that came into play, and that's how.
So so Kitty's already got one,
Right.
and Kathy's already got. Okay.
What do you mean,
Your mic.
I'm sorry, Stephen had to help some of us get established, but then he wasn't able to do that any longer. I had one at one point, but I don't have it.
I do believe several board members had a city email address, but when we went to Datamax and then there needed to be a double verification.
Correct.
During that double verification and authorization or authentication, whatever it was, a number of my members got knocked off the system, and they never got reestablished back with Datamax. We asked for it several times, and it was not made available to us. So to actually just have a city email address, we had them. Most all of our board members
You
did.
still have one.
She does, but she can't access it.
It's in limbo
So
somewhere.
part of the process will be that you'll have to do the double authentication. You can help on that, but one of the things that we have is the Duo app on our phone that we have to, and there are other, I don't want to say tests, but throughout the year, there are other authentication processes and security training and certifications.
Anti-phishing.
Yeah, there's a lot for you to do to keep your email, and I don't know what happened with the double authentication and why you can't get into it, but you do still have an email, and we are still paying for your emails.
Okay. Somehow it was lost in the transfer. And I know there were some other board members that lost theirs at the time. I think.
I haven't
some-
heard that before until today, but.
Okay.
Yes, that is what happened.
And there was an email that went out to everyone with .org email with instructions on how to do that. So I didn't know that you couldn't.
Some of us actually went to the fire station and Stephen helped us, but then, I don't know, as it transferred further down the road here, we lost. We just, the connection disappeared.
I will follow up on that because we are definitely still paying for your email.
And I think even some of our previous board members had emails, so you might follow up on those names too to make sure they're disconnected.
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, we keep up with that.
Thank you.
So what does the 6,000 cover? If you could give us an idea, because that's $857 a person.
It is. And I may have that somewhere. Give me one. And it is not an absolute exact cost. We would have to work with Datamax to get that information. Let me see if I can find the quick list we have.
While you're looking for that, another question I might ask is, who's going to write this procedure? Is that going to be one of the staff members, or is that going to be city council? I mean, what would be the process and the authorization of it all?
It's a pretty common practice to copy other cities' policies. I don't know, I haven't checked into that. But I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel. There are email policies out there.
I totally agree that I think having an email would be really nice, because as I just joined the board, like, we all got the open records request. And I didn't have to dig through any emails, but I'm curious, like, we haven't communicated by email, so what would be anticipated to communicate through our Haslet email other than receiving like the agendas? Like, because we're not really allowed to talk by email, or not really talk amongst ourselves. So what would we be doing with that email?
And I think that question might be answered in our training.
Yes, I mean, it is an easy way for me to communicate with all of you. I prefer not to do it over text, because with email I can blind copy everyone so there are no accidental reply alls. Just kind of functionally, but we can also talk about that in our training.
Okay, I have a little bit of information here. $60.45 each email per month. Email license only is $4.25. Intra ID license, $6.30. Cisco Duo license, backup license, AV and phishing license, and those are all data max charges, and that's $50. And that's what comprises the approximate $60.45 for each email per month. That does not include archive service. So for the 9 emails on this board, that'd be roughly $544 per month, and an estimate of $65.28 per year.
Didn't you say a couple members were already paying for that?
Correct.
Were you including alternates?
Yes.
Currently, we don't have any alternates, correct?
Correct. But just because you have those places available, we estimate it, to include everyone, all 9 places.
But we wouldn't necessarily have to pay for it.
Right.
Okay.
Like right now, you're not paying for, obviously, because they're not there.
I have a question. As board members change out, are there new fees with a new name coming on, like one email address coming on and one going out? Or is it just like the same cost, we just switch the name of the email?
So it's a license, so we can just change them
Okay,
if it's that.
okay.
So we'd have slots for 7 members and 2 alternates, so we'd have 9 slots, always allocated to this board, and then names would just be changed in and out as needed? Okay.
How do we get this added to our budget for next year? We're talking about it now, but in a few months, might be forgotten, that type of thing.
Well, I think we'll transfer money out of one area over into our IT and raise our IT amount. And once it's raised up, we won't lower it next year. I mean, it'll be there to cover the expense.
That shouldn't be a problem. Years and years, you guys had an IT budget that paid for the iPads and all of that. So.
Right, and yes. Okay. Other questions? Anyone else have any other questions? Well, I think it's clear to me. I certainly want to maintain a city email address, and I think the rest of the board might feel the same. But I think we should probably motion to have email addresses set up for all members, and then take a vote. And once that's completed, then I guess, Katrina, you'll take it from there and find a procedure?
Yes, in item 8.6, that is the recommendation that if you make a motion to recommend to city council that we proceed with the procedure, and we will establish one and go that route. That's the best way to do this.
Okay, then I suggest that whoever wants to make a motion just actually reads this statement as it's stated, and we'll take a vote.
I'd
Do I
like
have a
to make a
motion?
motion. To, let's see, to recommend that we establish a procedure to establish emails for all the members of the board, and the city staff will help with that procedure process, and this is to be submitted to the city council, and I'm not quite sure else what we need to say.
And pricing?
Oh, with the pricing?
A
to,
price and adjustment in our budget.
Okay, and that we make an adjustment to the budget.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? It's unanimous. Okay, thank you, board. All right, item number 9, executive session. I'll just read through this rather quickly. The Haslet Community and Economic Development Corporation reserves the right to adjourn into executive session during the meeting to seek legal advice from its attorney regarding any item on the posted agenda as authorized by Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Additionally, pursuant to the provisions of the Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code, the HCEDC may adjourn into executive session in accordance with the authority contained in and 9.1, Section 551.071 Government Code, consultation and attorney, pending or contemplated litigation, settlement offer to seek advice from the attorney, training for board members, and then item 9.2, Section 551.072 Government Code, deliberation regarding real property, purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if deliberation in an open meeting would have detrimental effect on position of the government body in negotiations with a third party, sale of HCEDC properties. So I call the open meeting closed at 7:45. Like to move into executive session. Hello, I'd like to open up our meeting at 10 o'clock. Item number 10, consider and act on any items from the executive session. We have none. Item number 11, future agenda items. We have the economic grant process. We have the agenda procedures that we tabled that we would like to bring up again at the next meeting. And then I asked the board, is there any other future agenda items at this time? If
I wanted to ask, is there anything that we need to ask of the staff about the grant process? The existing process? I thought Vista might be sending us what was on the website.
I think we determined that the last topic discussed was in February of 2024, and so we can access that information. The existing grant document was attached to that meeting.
Oh, to those minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
that meeting and those minutes, and we can go back and look at that
Okay.
as our reference. Okay, any other comments or future agenda items? Okay, if not, I adjourn this meeting at 10:02. Thank you.
This conference is no longer being recorded.